Hello and welcome to my Xamarin Android video series where you will learn to develop Android applications in C#. My name is Rodolfo Novello and today I'd like to talk to you about the list view as part of a list activity. In a separate lesson we will see how to use the list view component in a regular activity. When you need to show on the entire real estate of your device your simple business objects as plain text, then you can create an activity that is subclass from the list activity. This activity is in itself a list view. Now using the list activity simplifies the development, as the only component of the user interface is the list view itself, eliminating the need for a layout file. Since the list adapter is a property of the class itself, it eliminates the need to create an external adapter. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So let's create a new blank application and let's call it ListView. ListView. Let's call it simple. We're going to do a complex later on. So let's add a new class. Now let's call it MyServices. You can call it anything you want, of course. In this class, we are going to create a public class that we're going to call MyData, that is going to define what our data is going to look like. Get set. Okay. So we have the class that we're going to be working with, a method that is going to get the data for us. So let's make it public. It's going to return a list of my data. Type my data. Get my data. Okay. Let's create the object that will be holding my data. And let's instantiate it. And let's populate it. New my data. You know what? Let me pause the video so you don't have to watch me type. I have the 10 pictures that I like to use for the example that we need to add to our resources drawable folder. So let me find them and copy them into this folder. Okay, so I have them in the clipboard. So let's put them under drawable. So now they are in there. So we're going to add existing items. We go to resources, we go to drawable, and we select them all. Add. Okay, so they were added here. And the build action, make sure that it's Android resource. Okay. In this example, I'm explaining to you the simplest way to create a list view, which would be utilizing the list activity, which is in itself a list view. The first thing we want to do is gain access to our data. MyServices. We don't see it because let's show potential fixes, because we need a using statement. MyServices, let's call it services, and let's instantiate it. So this will give us access to the method that's going to bring in our information. Now inside of the onCreate method, we're going to get our services, we're going to get our data, get my data. Okay, and we need to assign it to, let's define it up here, list. We needed to add the using system collections .generic namespace, so we could use the list, and it's going to be my data. And let's call it my items. Okay, and we are going to populate my items right here. Okay, so now we have our database under the array my item. Since in a list activity list view we can only show text, let's separate the names now of my items into another array. So let's create a list of string. Let's call it the names. So if we type for each and double click the tab, we get a little template syntax of the structure, my items. So what we want to do is the names, we want to add the item that name. We need to instantiate it, new string. Okay. It is a property that allows us to bind the data to our list view. And let me show you how that is done. Equals, we're going to use an array adapter of type string. Okay, that requires the context, in this case itself, and there are a few options of the type of list that you want to show. Let me show you Android .resource .layout let's go to simple. See, there's a few there. Let's use simple list item 1. You can play with them to see the different types that you can use. Okay, so the string of objects that we have are the names. Now if you wanted to add a on-click listener, we can do it right here, and it's not difficult at all. So let's do it now. Protected override. It is a void. It doesn't return anything. On list. Click view. Let's put that information into a variable, and let's call it name touched equals. You know what? The scope of this, the names, is outside of the reach of the onList item click. So let's just declare that array up here. Okay, so now we have access to the names, add position. That's going to give us the name that was touched, and then we can create a toast. Make a little toast message that is going to tell us what name was touched. So right here we want to include the name touched. You touched, let's use this little trick. You touched, and then the name that it was touched was the name touched. We close it, and we give it a length. Toast length, let's make it short. And we want it to show the list activity does not have a layout, and right here it's trying to set the layout. So let's fix this real quick. Let's recompile, and this time, as you can see, now we do get our list precisely the way we wanted it. And if we touch any one of the rows, we get a toast that says what row we touched. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another of our Xamarin Android videos.